なあ、ヤニを一本分けてくれねえか。さっきあんたが潰したのが最後だったんでな。
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Danny here. Today I'm talking to you about No Guns Life. So No Guns Life is written and drawn by Tasuku Karasuma. This is published in Ultra Jump, that is the more seinen focused monthly magazine from Shonen Jump, as we all know. And this started in September of 2014 and is actually ending this year in September as well, with the final volume of 13 going to be published. As of right now, I've only read up to 63 chapters because that is up to volume 10, which is the latest one translated. We have to wait till next month before 11 comes out. So let's get into it, man. This stars our main character, Juzo Inui. He is a gun slave unit, as he is called. I've always seen fan art of him, especially hanging out with Kaiman from Dorohedoro. So I was like, oh, okay, let me check this out. This looks pretty cool. Boy, was I glad we got into here, man. This is in a setting similar to Battle Angel Alita, the sort of gritty cyberpunk future where it's very industrial. The way the art also complements like how crazy the world is and just how absurd people can get when they become extends, or what they're known as overextends. When they just start adding a bunch of crazy things, so they start looking like these giant robots that are in Battle Angel Alita. So now that the war is over, he doesn't have a purpose of being a machine for war, so he takes the role of being a detective that goes for cases about extends and deals with them accordingly, and he has a license from the bureau itself, so that way everything's official. So one day, Juzo gets a call that there is an overextend on the rampage with a bunch of killings. So it's up to him to go investigate, figure this out, and handle it accordingly. But as he goes back to his office, the landlord says he has a customer there. Turns out this is the overextend that's on the rampage, and he is holding a kid that is also deemed hostage, who was the son of the CEO of the company Beruren, which is the main company that offers services for extends. And as we dive more into the opening chapter of this series, we find out that the kid that this overextend captured is actually the one controlling the overextend. It's actually a hollow body. And that is because this kid was experimented on. He has this device called Harmony, which takes controls of any extends within a certain area. We found out the kid's name is Tetsuro, and he starts explaining through the extend's body that, they've just been tortured. There's a bunch of kids there. And he finally got out, and he hates everything that's going on. And as we see his appearance, right, very malnourished, his limbs are gone, so that he can't really escape. And so Juzo, being who he is, he decides to take the righteous path and help this kid. And now he is staying along with Juzo, and with the help of his mechanic friend, Mary, we go through this journey of the daily life of Juzo, which is being the detective and going through these cases and understanding more of his character, as well as being targeted by the company itself and having to deal with the people that they send out, and also trying to uncover a bunch of stuff that's going on in the background. Really digging this series. There's a lot of grit to it. It's very noir-esque, and it also gets complemented by the amazing artwork, and the fighting is so intense. It is great. You feel the intensity and the big impacts that go on in here, as Juzo is just a one-man army. He is just this monstrous tank that could take hits, and he hits back hard. And the best thing about this series, of course, is the writing. Every single character is well written out. They all have their arcs, and even with new characters coming in, we don't have a lot of screen time with some of them, especially if it's about just individual cases that Juzo has to go through. We get in just the bare minimum to understand their background and how they feel and everything else going on involving whatever the case may be. Again, getting a lot of vibes from Alita of just how everything works systematically with the whole government, with the Beruren, and just a lot of the things going on in the dark, right? A lot of illegal things that happen, and just the bigger scheme of things when it comes to Tetsuro and Juzo, as we later find out more information about why he is a special GSU and why that's important, and why Tetsuro is given the chance to have this freedom as they're sort of backing off on trying to bring him in. And Karasuma likes to not hold back when it comes to the absurdity of certain things, like with Juzo, for example, because he's a GSU during the war. There's really only a handful of these people left. Just seeing how powerful they are once that they go into the full capabilities that they did during the war, right? Juzo's been reluctant to let out his full powers. As we go through his flashbacks and stuff, we understand more of that. And just seeing how destructive and powerful they are, it's a force to be reckoned with. And it's understandable why they would want them to be eradicated once the war was over. And with Juzo being the backbone of the story here, without even diving into his backgrounds, we still get a really good understanding of what he's trying to accomplish here, as he's this processor, right? The detective side of things in this town. He wants to make people's wishes come true in a sense. That's why they come to him, and he hears out their stories, and he wants to just get a real understanding of if that's what they really want, right? Because of his background of just being a weapon, right? They kept calling him a tool during the war. He never really wished for anything. He never really thought about stuff outside of the war. If there's an order, I will execute it. And now that he has this freedom, he wants to make sure that when people are coming to him, this is what they truly want. This is their free choice. As well as all the relationships he has with all the other characters, it really feels like a nice, gritty detective story. And that's really perfect for this manga here. Like, sure, the action is great and all of that, but that's not the biggest selling point for me. Anyways, like, again, it is nice to look at, but there's so much more going on besides that. Similar to Battle Angel Alita, sure, the fights are great there, but there's a bigger story going on aside from that. So I'm really digging it, man. I'm very curious to see how it's going to end. With the 3 volumes I'm missing, there is a lot that could happen because it is a monthly series, and this thing is jam-packed. They made sure to trim all the fat, and it doesn't feel too compressed in each chapter. There's just enough for those small little breathing moments that help keep the pace intact. And what's nice too is every now and then there are cuts similar to how it would be if this was a drama series on television, where we get into a scene and then it cuts to something else, and that helps set up what's going to happen towards the end of the chapters. And I think that's a nice touch to the direction. So yeah, overall, guys, definitely recommend checking this manga out. Really great through and through. And even when there is some room for humor, it's in there, but it doesn't really distract you because just the way the humor moments are set up, it's fine. Karasuma definitely understands when a chapter should be serious and when they should add the gags. And there's not that many gags, but when it's in there, it's refreshing to see. And I think the main purpose of the humor is to really lock down our characters to understand, like, no, these are still people, normal people. No matter how deep they go into these crazy situations or how monstrous the enemies that they fight, they still have time for levity. And that's very important when it comes to our characters, because our characters have traumatic pasts and, you know, they need something to anchor them down back to reality. And those nice moments in between big arcs, it's very important, and it flows very nice. So it sucks to see it end, but I'm very much looking forward to what these 3 final volumes of the series have to offer. And with that, that's really all I have to say today, guys. Thanks for sticking around. So have you read or watched No Guns Life? I didn't even know the anime was out for this already and that it's getting a season 3 or something. But anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts, and we'll always bring those up on the next episodes. And you can send those to unversepodcast@gmail.com. And you can follow us on social media @unversepodcast anywhere you go, and we'll let you know when those episodes drop. So thank you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.